We're back in the seat and we are back talking about Wrexham Football Club. Today we have got plenty to be talking about. We're going to be looking at our first home win of the Championship season, a long-awaited victory. We're going to be reviewing it, we're going to be looking at the opponents, we're going to be looking at what went right for Wrexham, and in future games, what do we need to do to continue this good performance and good performances that we've seen, obviously in the Oxford United game and at glimpses throughout the Championship season. We're going to be previewing our big game tomorrow away at Middlesbrough and sort of the start of a bumper week for Wrexham Football Club because, you know, we've got Middlesbrough coming up who are second in the league. We've got Cardiff City in sort of the Welsh clash to reach the Carabao Cup quarter-finals. And then on the Friday, we've got top of the league Coventry City. So it's a big 6-7 days ahead for Wrexham. It's a big one today. Make sure to get down there and click the red subscribe button if you haven't already. We're on the road to 29,000 subscribers. Let's go as well for 700 likes on today's video. Make sure to get down there right now and click the like button. And without further ado, I think it's only right that we get talking first on our first home win back in the Championship. So at long last, we have secured our first home win of the Championship season courtesy of Nathan Broadhead's second league goal in a Wrexham shirt. A goal I think he's really deserved given his impact that he's had in recent games. We've of course seen him get the goal against Oxford United, came on against Stoke City and just immediately had a positive impact on the game and had positive impact on, you know, sort of the final third for Wrexham Football Club in the games that he has come on onto the pitch. And I think it was about time that, you know, his injury status that he's had over the past couple of weeks, him getting back up to full fitness, it was finally put behind him now. And I think this is sort of the Nathan Broadhead that we want to see, him starting week in, week out. And I'm very happy as well to see him get a start because he's much deserved over the past couple of games. So I think we should talk about our opponents first, Oxford United, and I thought they were really poor going into this game. I didn't think it was going to be, you know, a Championship cork or a classic that you might expect. I think it was two teams bottom end of the table, not really kick-started their season just yet, and I don't think it was going to be, you know, a 2-2, 3-2 either way. It was always going to be a low-scoring game, and I wouldn't say low quality, but in terms of games that you might see higher up in the Championship, we weren't going to see some of the flashy play on stuff that we've seen, you know, from Coventry City, from Middlesbrough so far this season. It was going to be one of those Championship games where it was going to be a one-goal deficit, a one-goal margin as to who won the game, and it was 1-0. It was 1-0 in the end. I'm not complaining, but if we're looking at Oxford United, I thought they were massively under the cosh in the first half. We should have had maybe 2 or 3 goals if we were sharper in front of goal and sort of on our game a bit more. I think we could have gone, like I said, 2 or 3-0 up because defensively they were on the back foot. Going forward, there was next to nothing, I would say, and like I said, I think they were hopeless going forward. They showed glimpses at times going forward with the wing play, but up front you're looking at the striker, man marked out the game. Dom Hyam had him in his back pocket. What a performance it was from Hyam, Cleworth. You could say Callum Doyle up until his red card, but overall the defence did really well to shut out and minimise any chances Oxford United had going forward, and it's kind of been their story away from home so far this season. They've only scored 6 away goals in 6 away games. They've only won 1 game away from home, so going into this game we should be looking at their away form thinking, we're at the racecourse ground today, we're back at the fortress that it has been over the years, we need to get 3 points over them, and we did exactly that. It wasn't done in pretty fashion, but it's a big 3 points going into, like I said, a big week ahead with some of the games we've got. It is absolutely massive and probably the biggest 3 games we've seen at this football club in well over a decade, probably even more. If we're talking on their fans, I thought it was a good following from them on a Wednesday night. You're looking at the travel they've had to have made from Oxford up to Wrexham. It was a really good following from them, and I thought they did really well to pack up the away end. But if I was a fan of Oxford United, I'd be massively disappointed going away from that game. They might have fancied their chances going into this with Wrexham's form, of course, and with recent weeks you could say they've not been as bad as some fans might have expected, but it was a poor showing from them in front of goal, and when you have 2 shots on target in the whole game, you've travelled all that way, and you know, you've had the red card, you've had 22 minutes to try and find an equaliser and created next to nothing. You're going to be coming away from this very disappointed. So talking on Wrexham, you all want to hear about us. Let's get talking about why we were successful in this victory. I think we need to start before kickoff. There were definitely a few eyebrows raised before obviously the game with the lineup selection. I was obviously in university watching the game on my laptop thinking, what is going on here? What is the approach that Phil Parkinson has made with the lineup selection? 4 changes he did make from the defeat away at Stoke City, which I attended. It was obviously very close to Manchester, but again, that's one to forget. We don't need to talk about that too much. The 4 changes were made, and I thought all 4 took their chances really, really well. I thought they played really well. Obviously, in the midfield was the main sort of rotation area from Phil Parkinson, and I can kind of see why Phil Parkinson has switched things up. Of course, it only needs a bit of logic. We've got a massive week ahead. Switching things up in a game like Oxford United, a lot of fans are saying it's a must-win. I don't think it is a must-win. If we would have, looked at this, if we'd have dropped points, a draw, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. We're looking at the games ahead: Coventry, Middlesbrough, Cardiff City. These are the must-win games for Wrexham. These are the games that we need to turn up in. So having those changes in midfield and seeing the performances from them, I think was a pleasant surprise to a lot of fans. But having said that, I think we recruited so heavily in the transfer window, and we recruited so heavily in the sense that Phil Parkinson obviously felt like we had good area and good depth in those areas across the pitch, especially in midfield. So the switches that we did make shouldn't really come as a surprise anymore, because we've got so much quality stacked up in different roles across the pitch, and the depth quality is really good. So changes like this, I think, was sort of a sign and sort of an indication that going forward we shouldn't really be so surprised, because they've taken their chances really well. I said it when he first signed for Wrexham Football Club, and we're starting to see small glimpses of why Nathan Broadhead is one of the best attacking midfielders you will find in the Championship. He's done it before in the Championship when Ipswich Town got promoted. He's performed well in the Premier League. He's got Premier League experience under his belt. It's now a question as to whether he can put his injury problems behind him, and I kind of assume he's not ready for a full 90 minutes yet, hence why he only lasted half an hour. There were groans apparently on social media when he was brought off. I think it was for Josh Windass, I can't quite remember, but there were groans about that. But I think if we're looking at Phil Parkinson's point of view, he obviously thought the game was under control, and having Windass off the bench, he's a Championship proven player, can score goals, can create them. Bringing Broadhead off in that situation isn't the end of the world, because if you're protecting him for the big games coming up, it makes a lot of sense. But when he's back fully fitting, when he can play a full 90 minutes, Nathan Broadhead is going to be, I'm going to say it, our most important player in the starting lineup, because his quality in the final third is second to none. And you're looking at his quality on the ball in general, and his constant attacking minded play that he brings to the team when we've seen it mostly when he's come on for the remaining 25-30 minutes, is just too good of an asset to have on the bench week in, week out. So I don't think it's going to be long before we see Nathan Broadhead, 1, starting in the lineup, which you've already seen, and 2, lasting a full 90 minutes and scoring plenty of goals in red and white. So if we're talking back on the lineup selection, obviously when we saw the lineup, it looked like a slightly defensive approach to the midfield. We saw George Thomason, Matty James both coming in, and of course George Dobson keeping his role in central midfield, and I thought all 3 looked really good and impacted the game really well. If we're looking as well, I think it's important to highlight this was George Thomason's first ever Championship start, and I thought he looked really comfortable. I thought he looked really good in the midfield. A lot of Bolton fans were saying, obviously, when he signed for Wrexham that he's not a Championship midfielder, but if you can get him in an environment where he's going to just continue to develop in a better environment with better players, then you are going to see a better version of him, because that was never going to happen at Bolton. So getting a player like him in, I'm sure he's going to massively benefit off the good quality players around him that are going to get the best out of him week in, week out. So I think it's a round of applause for him, and it definitely puts sort of a spanner in the works of Phil Parkinson as to whether he goes in and starts tomorrow away at Middlesbrough. So back onto the attack, and is there a question to be made about Sam Smith possibly starting on Saturday away at second place side Middlesbrough? I definitely do think there is, and I definitely think there's a lot of mixed opinions on social media, given the fact that Sam Smith was on the pitch for 8 minutes at home to Oxford United and recorded the most shots on target. He had 3 shots on target, which was half of the total amount of shots on target that Wrexham had across the whole 95-96 minutes, which again you could say is a good sign. But you look at Oxford United, they were obviously pushing for the equaliser, gaps were opening up at the back. Would Smith have recorded 3 shots in 8 minutes, sort of in like the first half? You've got to think about it that way. But he had a shot on target which the keeper made a good save. He hit the crossbar. He's looking sharp when he does come on, and he's looking like a player that's really hungry and wanting to make a statement to Phil Parkinson. So whenever he has come onto the pitch, it's mostly been a substitute in the league this season for Wrexham. He's added a different dimension going forward, and with Parky not being afraid to switch up a couple of things, I definitely do think there's a chance that we could see, maybe not on Saturday, but a start for Sam Smith in the Championship very, very soon, because like I said, he's impacted the game. I think he's got 1 goal so far this season at home to West Brom, but he's looking sharp going forward. He's hit the crossbar, he's made a good save from the keeper. So yeah, I think there's definitely a question to be made there. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. It would likely be for Kiefer Moore. So who would you rather up front tomorrow, Kiefer Moore Shaw or Sam Smith. So moving on to the loan watch now, it's going to be a bit different this week because a couple of things have happened in sort of the players that have gone out on loan, but we're going to be starting first on Paul Mullin. Now, Mullin came on for the final few minutes of Wigan Athletic's 1-0 win at home to Port Vale. Again, the situation is just massively disappointing and massively frustrating for Wrexham fans, and I'm sure for Paul Mullin himself, because he's come on for the final 3 minutes and it's been well over a month since Mullin last played a full 90 minutes. Check out last week's loan watch to see my views on his spell so far at the Latics and what I think could happen for Paul Mullin going forward, because I don't think it's working too well at Wigan Athletic. I don't think it's working as well as the fans, Phil Parkinson and Mullin would have hoped for. So yeah, one to keep your eye on and one that I think might have an impact in January as to whether he stays or goes at Wigan. Seb Revan now, it's disappointing. It's really disappointing on Revan's front because he's missed the previous 3 games in all competitions, 2 in League One, 1 in the EFL Trophy due to injury. It's not guaranteed when Revan is going to be back fully fit, but you know, he's had such a good start to the season for Burton Albion, plenty of good performances down that left hand side and was making a real impact in the Burton side as they rose off the foot of the table. But again, it's not guaranteed when he's going to be back fully fit. It's massively disappointing. Tom O'Connor now, O'Connor played yet another full 90 minutes for Peterborough United as they defeated Burton Albion 1-0 at the Pirelli Stadium. They've moved off the bottom of the League One table for the first time in quite a while. Tom O'Connor continues his streak of playing a full 90 minutes. I think that's his 6th, 90th minute game in a row. So yeah, he's got a lot of game time under his belt so far, which is what he was guaranteed when he did first sign for Peterborough United. He's put in some really good performances. And moving on to our other loanee, a lot of people are going to be disappointed by this, Jacob Mendy. Now, according to Peterborough United journalist Ben Jones, Jacob Mendy has picked up a long-term injury which is going to keep him out for quote-unquote many months. The Gambian wing-back has reportedly returned back to Wrexham following his injury for rehab, which is very disappointing. We've seen Jacob Mendy's history with injuries before, and I think I might have jinxed it so many times on the loan watches saying it's good to see him back playing regular football, but you know, it's not lasted very long. It's lasted just over a month and he's picked up a long-term injury, which is very disappointing because, you know, it was about time that he got out there in the good division and got himself, you know, back playing 90 minutes week in, week out. He might not have got 90 minutes, but he was getting a good amount of minutes in his tank. And to see him get a long-term injury and just see him go over the process of returning from a long-term injury again, it's very disappointing for himself. Mo File, now File continues to come off the bench for Port Vale in League One for no longer than 10 minutes on average. He's not scored since the last loan watch. It's been a disappointing spell for File at Port Vale. There's not really too much to report on. So moving on to tomorrow, league action is coming thick and fast for Wrexham Football Club, and we're set to face, on paper, our toughest opponent so far since returning back to the second division of English football as we travel to the Riverside Stadium to take on Middlesbrough Football Club in what is set to be a massive clash for both sides for multiple different reasons. If we're looking at the opponents, because I don't really need to talk on Wrexham too much, we know what we need going into this game. We know how to obviously get a result from this game. But if we're looking at Middlesbrough, they've had an incredible start to life under Rob Edwards in the Championship. They sit second in the league, unbeaten at home. They've only conceded twice at the Riverside, so we're going into this game knowing that we're going to have our work cut out, and it's going to be a massive performance needed from the Wrexham team if we are going to go there and get a big 3 points, even just a point on the board. I think would be a really good result for us, and Middlesbrough aren't really known for being a heavy possession-based team, but I can see them wanting to control the play, control the ball, you know, just control possession across the whole of the 90 minutes. So we'll need to take our chances because I think there'll be few of them across the game, that we just need to take them when we get them. If we're looking at Middlesbrough as well, they've got quality all over the pitch. The quality, the depth, the mix between youth and experience across the starting 11 is just a really good balance. And of course, they've got Welsh manager Rob Edwards in charge, who has hit the ground running since day one at being at Borough. It's going to be a great atmosphere. The Riverside, we've seen their fans so far this season. They've got every reason to be getting behind the team and making this stadium absolutely electric. So let's play the game and not the occasion, because the occasion's big for both teams, but we just need to focus on ourselves, because if we're going to go there and get at least a point, I think that's going to be one of the biggest results we could possibly get all season. If we can get all 3, that would just be ridiculous. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think we'll come out with a point? Do you think we'll come out with all 3? I'm keeping optimistic. I'm not talking about losing this game because I don't think we're going to lose. There's just part of me that's just thinking about this. Could we just go there and cause a bit of an upset and a bit of a stir to their automatic promotion chances? If we can go there, get 3 points, what an occasion that would be. And let's see if Lewis O'Brien can make an impact on his return back to Middlesbrough. I did actually realise last week, and when I was editing the video back, that I just sort of skipped past all the new cards added to my Wrexham past and present collection, so we're going to be looking at them a bit more in detail. I've got a few here that I am going to be talking about. All of these are either numbered or signed from mostly Premier League clubs. The first one here is a Conor Cody Revolution card from the 2021 season at Wolverhampton Wanderers, which is numbered 4 out of 75, so that was from the Panini set from the 2021 season. A nice card, numbered of course to 75, a low-ish number for a present Wrexham player, which again I couldn't turn down. This is one of my favourite ones that I've recently added to the collection. It's Issa Kabore's Terrace Camo Prison from the 23-24 season when he was on loan at Premier League side at the time, Luton Town. Again, this one is numbered 82 of 175, so a highish number, but again, the design of the card I think is really nice. Again, another Panini set from when Kabore was playing in the Premier League. We've got a Lewis O'Brien card, a red Mojo Prism card, rookie from his first season in the Premier League, the 22-23 campaign for Nottingham Forest. Again, this is another numbered card. I've got another numbered Lewis O'Brien, but this is 36 of 99. Again, red as well, red for Wrexham, red for Nottingham Forest. You can just see the design of the cards there. Really nice, and you know, just one that is so addictive to add to the collection because just the designs of these Prism cards from that season is really nice. We've then got a really lovely card. It's a shame he's playing for England, but we've got Conor Cody's International Ink autograph card from the 22 World Cup in Qatar, which Conor Cody did go to. He was in the squad for most of the games. Lovely on-card signature there. It was on a sticker, so it's not actually on-card, but the sticker's been placed over it. This one isn't numbered, but again, it's such a lovely card, and it's my second Conor Cody auto that I have added to my collection again. Lovely design to the card there. And finally, you've seen this before in the first ever video I showcased my cards. It's another Kiefer Moore Blue Mojo Prism card from the 22-23 Premier League season. I've got this card already numbered to 25. This one is numbered 17 of 75, but again, a really lovely design on the card, lovely sparkle on there. 5 that I'm really happy that I've added to my collection. So that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like, make sure to subscribe, like I said, do all that good stuff like I say every single video. Thank you to everyone that has supported the channel further as well by buying me a coffee. It's the first link in the description down below, and if anyone's wondering, university's going really well for myself. I'm really enjoying the course. It's, you know, really educational and just sort of what I wanted to do. So yeah, everyone's asking, so I thought I'd let you know. Until the next video, take care guys, up the Championship Reds.